Colin with Worthy Brand Consulting. And today I want to keep it really simple. I kind of want to chat about the art of outsourcing. So it's kind of a maybe not so fun word for a lot of you, but I think it'll be really beneficial. So what do I mean by outsourcing? Essentially, really the principle is for a lot of you, you're doing so much in your business. You probably, for a lot of you, are your business if you're a coach, consultant, even brick and mortar business. Where you feel kind of overwhelmed. You're probably doing pretty good in your business because you're hustling like crazy, but you are probably also kind of worn out physically and mentally, right? And you probably love what you do, but it's just too much, you know? And if you've ever read the book, The E-Myth by Mr. Michael Gerber, you can kind of see the coffee stain I have on the book. It's kind of gross, but you can tell I've read it. It's sort of a basic book about, business owners fitting one of three categories, or all three, which is the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager, right? And, essentially Michael Gerber talks about how for a lot of us, we're all three. So we're the entrepreneur, the visionary, we're creating new offers. We're thinking about how we can serve our market better. We're also the technician. So not only do we cast vision and strategy, but we're also doing the thing. So you're actually doing the service, right? For a lot of you, and you're actually in the day to day. And then the management, right? So there's the manager, right? So if you have employees, part of you is being tugged on the management side as well, like overseeing how things are going, right? But the only problem becomes is as you start to grow and scale your business, you can only wear so many hats, right? And so the idea is, as you're creating a business, you want to build it off of systems, right? And as entrepreneurs, my wife's actually texting me. Let me answer back real quick. As entrepreneurs, we can easily get caught up in, again, doing all the day-to-day tasks, getting kind of bogged down where it's really hard to scale because we don't have systems. And the word system for a lot of you, or systems, maybe kind of like, it's not the most attractive thing. But the purpose of this video is really to show you how simple the stuff can be. It doesn't need to be complex. I am a very non-complex person. I use legal pads to get my ideas out on paper. I don't use any fancy software, any kind of crazy planning, specific planners that are, have all these different sections in them. I just keep it simple. So if I can do it, you absolutely can do it. In fact, my wife runs a photography business that we've been able to run about 80% of it off of using virtual assistants that we love. Amazing people. They're like family to us, and creating basic systems that they follow. So let's kind of talk about that. So what is a system? Well, we can kind of maybe explain really simply by talking about McDonald's. So for a lot of you, if you've read either the E-Myth or you've seen the movie, I think it's called Founder, that's about McDonald's. The reason why McDonald's really took off, it wasn't necessarily because they had the best hamburgers, and I'm also not condoning their food or their products, so it's not part of this conversation. But the reason McDonald's did so well in those early years is because the McDonald's brothers were able to create a really simple process of serving a limited number of foods, but being able to do it extremely efficient, really well. And they had a very basic system where if they're, the French fry guy in the back decided to quit, he found better horizons. Well, they can immediately plug someone else into their system without having to do a ton of training. They knew exactly how long it took for the fries to be in the fryer, when to take them out, how long to keep them out, the whole thing. So they created a process for it where they could say, they knew down to the minute, hey, every minute and a half, we have a new batch of fries coming out. So they could duplicate it really easily, which was beautiful. And so essentially in your business, you're trying to create a bit of a McDonald's process, right? There's many tasks you're currently doing that you don't need to be doing. So let's kind of talk about it. So I have my little Word document here, so I'm going to update it as I chat with you. But one of the first things before you even start creating processes, the most simple thing is figuring out, what are you already doing in your business? So for some of you, the answer is everything. But we can kind of get specific. And again, I'm very simple. If you prefer to do this on a legal pad, by all means. I personally love pen and paper. Since I'm recording this, It's a little bit easier to record my screen, but feel free to use pen and paper if you so choose. It's going to serve the same purpose, okay? This stuff could be really simple. So what is the brain dump? Essentially, this is the first piece to creating systems, is asking yourself the question, once I start my workday, what am I actually doing, right? So for a lot of you, the first thing could be checking your email, right? So what you'll do is, again, either on a piece of paper or on the computer, just write brain dump, okay? You can bold it. You can get all fancy if you want. It's all good, whatever you want to do. And you're just literally going to make a list, okay? And you're going to think to yourself during the course of a normal day, what am I actually doing? Well, again, for some of you, you may wake up, check email, okay? The next thing may be, respond to important emails. Important to you may be important, could be vendors, could be clients, right? Could be leads, you name it, okay? So what do you do after you check emails? Well, for some of you, you'll check your ads, okay? If you're running paid advertising, check your paid ads, okay? What else do? You manage, maybe you scale, maybe you eliminate, maybe you test, new creative, okay? What else do you do? It could be, do you start follow-ups? Okay, so maybe you work out of your CRM, new leads, cold leads, warm leads, whatever the case is, hot leads. Okay, you work through your database there, and so on and so forth. So the hardest part about this whole thing is just giving yourself the time and space to sit down and ask yourself, man, what am I actually doing? Because a lot of times you just feel busy. And busy is good. That's probably part of the reason why you are having good success in your business. But sometimes at the end of the day, I don't know if a lot of you are like me. You'll just be like, "Man, I did so much today, but what did I actually do?" It's kind of difficult. And so, if starting this process of brain dumping is difficult for you, it's all good. You're not crazy. It's totally normal. And as entrepreneurs, again, if you're anything like me, you might have like a bit of ADD, scatterbrain. You're thinking of, it's hard for you to sit still and do something for an extended period of time. Like for most of you, this should take 30 minutes to an hour, right? And it's going to take time, and you can get as granular as you want, right? But I would make a list. This is your first thing. Now, here's the thing. A lot for all of you, I should say, you're going to miss stuff, right? It's just going to happen. You're going to miss things that you do every day, and you're like, why did I not think of that? So here's what I would do on top of the brain dump, okay? Start with the brain dump, spend 30 minutes sitting down, thinking on an average day in my business, if you're a coach, consultant, again, local business owner, service-based business owner, if you sell info products, whatever it is, okay? Sit down and think on an average day, on a random Wednesday, at 11 a.m., what am I doing, and make a list, get everything on paper, okay? That's the first piece. Now, the second thing I would do is the following day, I would do an audit, okay? And essentially all that means, and for some of you, you might want to set a timer going off every 10 minutes, okay? It might be a little extreme, but it'll help you. And if you want to go that route, literally set your phone for the next day. It's going to be a pain in the neck, but if you can successfully do this, it's going to help you immensely. So you could do it this way. You could set a timer every 10 minutes. And take a legal pad, right? Just like this, basic, right? And every time the timer goes off, just write down what you're doing. Even if you're on the same task, if you haven't changed tasks, whatever, write down exactly what you're doing, okay? And add it to your brain dump list, right? So, or you don't have to do that. You might be like, man, that's a little extreme. I don't want to have this thing going off every 10 minutes. Totally fine. You can, again, sit down with your legal pad, and every time you change tasks, it's going to be a little difficult to remember. But as best you can, every time you change tasks, just write down what you're doing now, okay? So your main objective in order to create systems in your business is to first identify what are you already doing, okay? So let's say we've successfully done that, okay? Give me a quick intermission. I'm actually going to text my wife back, okay? One sec here. And we're back. Sorry about that. You could tell this video is impromptu. That's how I personally like to roll, is just try to get it done no matter what. So So that's that. Okay. So let's say you've gotten your brain dump complete. Amazing job. This is going to be very few people will actually sit down, take the time and say, what am I doing in my business? It's really important, because it's hard to create systems and hire for stuff that you don't really fully know what you're doing. Every day it kind of changes, right? That's a tough role to hire for, because if you train a person on the whim stuff, which you'll have some, but if you hire somebody because you're so busy and you need to hire somebody, and the training is a process of training them on the whim, on the fly, there is no system or process for them to follow. It's just you brain dumping on them. Well, when they quit or they leave, or you get tired of them not working to the performance that they should, well, now you got to find somebody else, and you go through the same process of brain dumping on them. And it really makes it difficult to run a business without systems, right? So this is the first piece. You brain dump. Okay. What is the second piece? Well, the second piece is relatively simple, right? You are going to identify each task, right? So in the case of checking your email, this is how you create systems, right? Super easy. And there are fancy programs to build systems. A lot of you may be familiar with the term SOPs. SOPs are just an acronym that stands for Standard Operating Procedures, which means what's the step-by-step play for a specific task, right? The standard operating procedure, right? What's the procedure that somebody follows when it comes to checking email, okay? And this is literally what we mean by systems. Now, before I get there, again, I just want to reiterate the importance of how much this will help you in your business, right? So again, if you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you're wearing all the hats, right? You're the entrepreneur, you're the visionary, but you're also the technician. You're doing all of the day-to-day tasks. You're the manager. You're trying to manage your ads, your accounting, people. If you have people currently in your business, it's crazy, right? You need to do it. It's necessary when you start up. But for a lot of you listening to this, you've already been running your business for a while. You're kind of past the startup phase, and you're in we're making good money. We're doing pretty well, but I'm kind of stressed out phase, right? So this is the beauty of when you create systems, when you take your brain dump, right? You get it all on paper, get it on the computer, get it all out there. And then you one by one take those tasks and you create a little operating procedure for each one, little step-by-step playbook, right? For each of those tasks. Makes it really easy because now if the person you hired decides to leave, you already have a playbook. You've already created the procedure where the next person you hire, all they have to do is go to that playbook. Again, this is simple. It doesn't have to be complex. You could literally have a playbook on a legal pad and hand it to them. Okay. It's probably not that professional, but you could do it, right? All a system is, all a procedure is, all SOPs are simply a step-by-step process for somebody else to follow, right? You're taking something you're already doing, you're taking that, putting it into written words in a step-by-step format, and then taking it and giving it to somebody to follow. Okay. That's how easy this stuff is. So let's kind of run through that. And I'm going to show you an example in our business, my wife's photography business, what that looks like. But let me just show you real quick. So let's say check email. Okay. This is literally what it would be like if you're hiring somebody and you're like, you know what? I'm wasting 2 hours a day going through emails that I don't need to. Maybe 1% of those emails are important. The others, I'm just goofing around wasting time, right? So let me hire someone to do that. Well, in order to do that, you got to create systems. So and you can put a fancy name behind it. You can call it, the fancy email filtering SOP, whatever you want to call it. Okay. It doesn't even have to have a name. So here we go. So step one, this is literally what your playbook's going to look like, right? We're building a playbook right now for somebody else, an employee, to follow. This is it. This is the secret sauce behind McDonald's and all great businesses that run really well is they have SOPs. So step one, log into my Gmail. Okay. Username, yada, 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 right? Password, boom, boom, boom. You can get more specific. There's software you can use, of course, to hide your password if you don't want employees to have your password and stuff like that. Totally fine. You could actually use, in the case of this specific SOP, log into LastPass. That's a name of an email protection software. But anyway, so okay, step 1, log into my account. Okay. Step 2, check new emails that have come in for the day. Okay. You could say star, okay, like that little star button, star the emails that have come in from clients, vendors, leads. Delete emails that are not clients, vendors, leads. After starring the important emails, send me a message on Slack or text message once complete. Okay, something like that. So, and you can go on and on with the rest of the process, but essentially all you're doing is saying, okay, when I check my emails, what do I do? And another quick hack, if you want to call it that, is you can get a software like Loom. It's actually the service I'm using right now to record my screen. And to make it really simple, you could just literally say, okay, I'm about to hire somebody, so I need them to take over what I'm doing. So let me record myself going through my emails. And as you go through your email, just talk about what you're looking for. You're looking for, emails from vendors or from current clients or from new leads, and so on and so forth, and record yourself doing it. Okay. Once you record yourself doing it, you can play it back to yourself, open up a Word doc. Okay. This is where we'll keep our super fancy standard operating procedures. We'll just put it in a Word doc. Okay. And we're just literally going to play that. You could play the video back to yourself and pause it as needed. And you'll just literally step by step. Okay. First step is log in. Okay. Next step is look at the new emails that have come in. Once you've looked at the new emails, filter by, find the ones that have come in from current clients, current vendors, leads, and star those. After you star them, send me a text message once you're complete, right? Delete everything else that's not starred. So that's a quick way to make your SOP, and then so on and so forth. So all you'll do is go back once you do that, once you've created your brain dump, or once you've knocked one off of your brain dump. Okay, you can just totally take it off the list or do whatever you want. You can cross it out. You can use a little feature on Word doc if they have it. That little dash. Where's that thing at? Anyway, you can get rid of it, right? Move on to the next one. So the next thing you do for the day is check your paid ads. Well, what do? Pop open Loom or just do it on your own, right? And say, okay, first thing I'm going to log into Facebook. Second step is I'm going to go to the top of funnel campaign, whatever it is. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the metrics and look for how many leads came in, what the cost per lead, whatever it is, right? And that's it. And literally, that's creating SOPs, right? So on the Word doc, what you could do is you can also take the video of you recording yourself, pop it in there, right? So I'll just bust open a new document here. Okay, you can do this for your business. Now, again, there is fancier software. I do use other software to create my SOPs, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with just putting your SOPs on a Word document. All right. So again, we can call this whatever your business name. Oops. Sorry about that. So you could just put your business name. If this will let me, here we go. Okay. Business name. All right. This is totally not playing fair here. So, but anyway, you could just name the document whatever you want. You can call it email checking procedure. Okay. Now you have a living, breathing document where you could take your recording, right? Let's say it's this current recording, right? You can paste the link. Again, you can at the top, you can call it procedure. Okay. You can get fancy with the titling. Okay. You can make it look however you want. You can do video overview. Put the link here. Okay. And then you can just go down, right? And then just put in your step-by-step process. And this is, again, literally the way where you're able to take yourself out of your business. Now, again, is it super fancy? Is it, I know a lot of people like to use really cool software. Maybe it's not as cool, but it's effective, right? And then literally you'll just create your step-by-step process, right? Okay. It's that simple, right? And then once you're finished, when you hire your new employee, whether they're a virtual assistant, which we love virtual assistants, big fan. We just like managing virtually. We don't have an office. I don't want an office, right? Some of you do. Totally fine. Give me a minute as I take a swig of water here. So this person could be in your office and you can give them your SOPs for the day, right? And you can provide an order. Say, hey, you can create an SOP for your SOPs, right? So you can create another document that literally just outlays the process of which SOP they go through first, right? So again, hopefully you realize, like, after going through this video, it's like you should be hopefully thinking to yourself, my goodness, this stuff is so simple, right? Doesn't have to be complex. And the beauty is, again, let's say, I'm going to make up a name, but let's say Samantha, you hire a Samantha, she's virtual or in person, and you say, Samantha, welcome to the team. We're so happy to have you. You go over all of your core values, you go over the vision for the company, whatever you do to onboard people, get them pumped up, connect them with your other teammates if you have a team already. And you say, okay, next step is I'm just going to provide you the procedures that we do here. Okay, it's really simple. I've actually already created a document. You just have to follow it every day. If you have any questions, let me know, but it's very, very simple. And you hand them these little Word documents you created, right? Samantha, great. Here's our email checking procedure. Here's what you do. And Samantha will get access to the document. You can share it with her, right? Again, if you want to make it fancy, you can make it super fancy, right? A lot of you are into the fancy stuff. Go for it, or keep it simple. You'll have a video link there. You may even be able to insert an image or video in there. So you could put a link if you can, and then a step-by-step process. So she's like, great, this is great job. She knows what she's accountable for, right? And again, if you make another document, you can call it, whatever business name, daily overview process. Okay. And then this could be the first document you give her, which is the daily overview process. And for whatever her role is. So maybe it could be the general manager role. Okay. So maybe she's a GM. She manages a lot of the day-to-day for you. Okay. And you could say, here's your daily overview process. Okay, so you can provide a video link. So maybe it's you on camera saying, so happy to have you in this general manager role. Part of what we do as a general manager are a series of different tasks, and we pretty much do them every day. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of what those things are. And then, of course, you can look at this document below in case you forget and you need a quick reminder. You could just look at this document and see what your order of tasks are. Okay. And of course, as always, if you have questions, just let me know. Okay. So there you go. So this will be your daily overview process where you tell them exactly what to do. So step one could be, start on the email filtering SOP. When complete, move to the next step. All right. Step two could be start on the follow-up SOP. Okay. When complete, move to the next step. Okay. So this is how easy this stuff is. Again, worst case, the employee leaves. It's all right. No big deal. You hire the next one, make sure they're a good fit. You give them the daily overview process so they understand what their day should look like. You can put your KPIs on there if you like, which is your key performance indicators. Like if you're measuring specific metrics, like a certain amount of follow-ups go out, whatever, a certain amount of emails get sent, whatever the case is, you could put KPIs on there. And then literally your employee knows, okay, step one, I need to start with my email SOP, right? So then you'll have that document you created for them, right? We'll pull that up over here. Then they go through this process. They watch the video and they just literally go step by step through the process. So once you've done this, right, it's going to take a little bit of time because we're just working off of our brain dump, right? And we're going through all the different things, right? We can create a paid ad process, right? So just like we created the email one, do the same thing for paid ads, for your follow-ups, if you're going to have someone in the sales role or whatever it is. And that's it, right? So this is the beauty of creating processes, because now you're building a business that all the stuff you're doing is documented. It's in step-by-step format. The other nice thing is you don't need to spend weeks training people. And then everything that you've trained them on, like it's nowhere to be found. So when they leave, they take it all with them. The beauty is now you have this in-house. It's a living, breathing document. You can change it as you need. You can add to it. You can eliminate to it. You can onboard 10 people at a time and give all of them the SOPs. They can follow step by step, right? So anyway, I hope this video helped you. I know it helped us for sure. I did mention I was going to show you some of our SOPs. Let me do that before we head off for the day. Okay. I'm going to pull up, like I said, I like to use Asana for my process. I want to make sure I don't kill the audio here, kill the recording. Like I said, I like to use Asana. Same stuff you're going to see. It's literally no different than what I just explained to you. In fact, I'd almost prefer to use Google Docs. I like to keep the stuff really simple. And you could literally create a little folder in Google Drive and call it whatever you want. You can call it the email process folder and stick your little document in there, right? Whatever it is, okay? Just keep the stuff simple. Don't overthink it. So as this thing opens up here, I'll show you. It's for the photography business here. Let's just scroll down and maybe pick a random SOP. A 30-day trial has ended. Bummer. I may not be able to even show you. So a lot of these different softwares that you can use for absolutely free, they shouldn't really cost you anything. Forgive me for this thing not working here. I was hoping to show it to you, but let me take one more shot at it. Hopefully I can get it for you. As it loads, I apologize. I'll move on to something else. So like I mentioned, another beauty of running your business off of SOPs is, of course, you build a really easy process. Anybody can follow it. And the other thing too, to keep simple, is just have really simple tracking sheets, right? So if your business, if there's ways to track it using numbers, right? Amount of email sent, amount of cold calls made, right? If there's a sales development role you're trying to manage, I would encourage you to keep this stuff really, really simple. Okay. I know a lot of folks like to micromanage. I absolutely don't like micromanaging. I'm more interested in the overall what results got finished today than how many minutes did you spend working on it. I'm personally of the mindset I don't really care too much how long it took you. If it takes forever, that's a problem. But as long as you're hitting the metrics that we've set on a day-to-day basis, I'm good with it. Right? So one of the things we do for our business is organic outreach. We send cold messages to people that have never heard of us before, and we start conversations, and we turn those conversations, a percentage of them, into customers, right? Nothing special about that, okay? And you'll see on our tracking sheet, we use LinkedIn as a platform to send messages. We have Instagram, and we do follow-up messages. And that's it. And our VA has a minimum of 100 messages to send a day. And you'll see, here's the total amount. And this is the weekend, and she sends over 100 messages a day. And of those 100 messages, we get a certain amount that respond back positively. So instead of me managing, trying to figure out how many minutes is she spending sending messages, I just manage based off of our tracking sheets, right? So she follows the SOPs on how to send messages on LinkedIn. We have a special procedure for that, right? Click this button, look for these type of people, send this type of message. After you get a response back, do this with it, let us know here, right? So there's a procedure to follow for LinkedIn. She just follows the SOPs. Then she goes to Instagram, right? We created procedures for that as well, just like I showed you. It's in Asana, which it's giving me a little bit of trouble right now. But again, just use the idea of what I showed you with the Google Docs, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. And that's what she does. So I would encourage you, once you finish your SOPs, after you've gotten your brain dump, right? So you've figured out what are all of the tasks I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. You've identified that. The following day, you did a quick little audit to get the extra tasks that you couldn't remember on the first day. So now you've gotten your list of everything you're doing, right? And then you're going one by one on those tasks, and you're turning them into basic procedures. You can record yourself doing each one, then take that recording and just break it down into a step-by-step format, put it in a Google Doc and call it something special. Call it the email filtering procedure, okay? Something special. And do that for all of your tasks, and you're good. And then what you'll do is, once you hire for specific roles, you may have somebody that does all of your day-to-day stuff. For a lot of you, that's possible. You can have a virtual assistant handle 95% of it. Maybe the other portion, like the actual sales calls, you need somebody that's just great at sales to do that. But you can, once you finish creating all of your SOPs, then just break it down into roles. So maybe you have an SDR, which is like a sales development rep, somebody that helps drum up business, kind of like the spreadsheet right here, right? Sending cold messages. So maybe in the sales development role, you just take 5 of those tasks and put it for her in that role. And the sales development rep has 5 procedures to look at, okay? And you make a 1 extra procedure, which talks about, hey, SDR, welcome to the team. It's a daily overview, just like I showed you. So one of the SOPs, the first one is just, hey, this is what you do on a day-to-day. And it tells her what order of SOPs to follow, okay? Really simple. And just do that for the other roles. If you have a sales role, customer support role, whatever it is, now you're able to hire specifically for those roles and just plug them into the systems you created. It's really beautiful. And again, it's simple. It can be complex. You can make it very complex, but I'm a pen and paper, keep things really simple type of person. So hopefully this helps you. I look forward to just giving you more value, as much value as I can. And have an amazing day. And I will talk to you later.